Welcome to Dark Docent. My name is Jake. Join me as I guide my friend James down the paranormal rabbit hole, attempting to prove the authenticity of a new case each week. Today's case, the Ogopogo.
Just like Brian Wilson dead.
Yeah. How you doing today, James?
Not too bad. How are you?
Doing good, buddy.
Why?
I'm excited for today's episode.
Really?
Yes.
You know what? Me too.
Really?
Really?
I'm more surprised by that than you are by me being excited. I'm always
Still?
excited. Yeah. Why are you excited for this?
I gotta get better at lying.
Why are you excited for today's episode?
I'm excited for today's episode because, well, really, it's the highlight of my day.
Are you doing okay?
Well, what was today? Today was wake up early and go to work. Yeah, I'm ready for it.
All right. Fuck yeah. First off, happy late Canada Day to you.
Happy late Canada Day to you as well, and happy probably late 4th of July to our American listener.
Yeah, this isn't going to come out for a while. So by the time people hear this, it's going to be weeks after Canada Day and 4th of July.
It's going to be August.
It's going to be August, but still.
Still, the sentiment's there.
Exactly. Because it was Canada Day, it made me start thinking, we've done a lot of stuff in the States. We've done some stuff in England. We've even done stuff in Africa. Why don't we do something right here at home in our country?
Big country.
Big country.
A lot of land. Probably a lot of space for cryptids.
All sorts of spooky stuff. With that, I have a story for you. October 1978. Penticton, British Columbia, Canada. Bill Stasiak is crossing the William R. Bennett Bridge. He is heading to Kelowna for work. He's thinking nothing of his day, just his normal morning commute, when all of a sudden something catches his eye. Something in the water. He sees several humps going up and down, running towards Kelowna. He instantly stops his car, throws the hazards on, and runs to the side rail of the bridge. And he looks off, and he sees these 3 humps and a head bobbing, going alongside of the bridge. He couldn't believe his eyes. He doesn't know what he's looking at. And he instantly remembered, oh, I just stopped my car on the middle of a busy bridge during the morning commute. So he went to turn around. But as he went to turn around to go get back to his car, it didn't matter. Because the whole bridge stopped, got out of their cars, and were watching this creature swimming beside the bridge. He counted at least 40 people behind him were lining the bridge watching this creature. And this is not the first time this creature has been sighted. This creature actually goes back many, many years in Canadian folklore. This actually turned Bill Stasiak's life around, and he spent the rest of his life looking for evidence of this creature. And now it's our turn. James, have you heard of the Ogopogo?
Yes, I think I have. I may even have mentioned it in the Loch Ness Monster episode.
You have. You actually told me I actually want to learn about the Ogopogo, disregarding what I was talking about. So now we're here.
We're
talking about the Ogopogo. How much do you know about the Ogopogo?
That's about it.
Just that?
Yep. That it's a sea monster, a sea serpent, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
In the Okanagan region.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
And that really is about all I know, actually.
Okay. Well, the Ogopogo is actually pretty big. It's said to be about 50 to 60 feet long. It's also said to have a serpentine body and a horse-like head with 2 to 3 horns on top of it. This has been commonly reported going back ages. And something I didn't know about the Ogopogo is I didn't realize it wasn't as famous as I thought. Like, I thought that Ogopogo was up with like Loch Ness Monster Bigfoot.
Yeah, I kind of figured the same thing.
Yeah, but it turns out like not many people know about it.
Is it just like a British Columbia thing or Canada?
It's a Canada thing, but more famous in British Columbia. But I think it's just, I never realized that apparently like no one really knows about the Ogopogo, and lots of people are actually, it's one of those cryptids where around the world people hear Ogopogo, kind of laugh at it, scoff at it, and don't even actually look anything at it.
It is a pretty funny name.
It is, and we'll get into why it's called that. But anyway, I didn't know that actually it wasn't as famous as I thought it was. How much do you know about the Okanagan? Have you been to the Okanagan?
I've driven through it quite a few times.
Mhm.
I've never really hung around. Stayed in Kelowna briefly last year for a night and carried on.
You didn't stop to go look for the monster?
You know, it was about 43 degrees outside.
So
I found the closest air-conditioned mall,
Mm.
waited in there for a friend, and then went to his air-conditioned place. I'm fairly fair-skinned. I burn a lot quite easily.
fair enough. So you didn't want to be a slow roasted gift to the Ogopogo?
Not really. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even think about it. The Ogopogo was not on my mind on the road trip.
That's literally all I think about when I go to Kelowna. I've been there twice, and both times I've just always constantly thought about the Ogopogo.
I was just thinking about how hot it was. That's 110 Fahrenheit.
You made it make less sense by putting it into Fahrenheit.
Well, our American listeners are going to be like, that's freezing cold. Shout out to them.
Damn right. They're the real ones.
Tell Congress.
A little bit about Okanagan Lake. It's 135 kilometers long, 84 miles, and it's 5 kilometers wide or 3.1 miles wide at its widest part. It's also over 800 feet deep. This lake is nearly 3 times the size of Loch Ness, and you can fit the entire population of Earth in it twice.
Just bodies stacked up.
Bodies stacked up. It's that big. It's also known as a fjord lake. Many glaciers built up have made this lake and carved it into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we went over with Loch Ness too. Similar, that big long trench style lake. They seem to hold these kind of creatures. Another thing about the Okanagan is it has cave systems that we actually don't know where they go. They've never been explored,
But we know they're there.
but we know they're there.
That's one step above Loch Ness.
It is. And I also learned about Loch Ness. They found them on sonar scans. They found caves on the sonar, but again, did not explore them.
Right.
The reason for this is because it's highly dangerous. We don't know where they go.
Divers
Stuff like
do die a lot in caves.
Why does anyone do that?
You'd think there'd be a better way by now.
We have submersibles. We have drones in the air. You think you can't put them in the water? Like,
Well, the thing about caves is they can get pretty narrow sometimes. You can't always fit a submarine through a crevice.
you see those guys on YouTube, like, pressing their face up to the cave wall, and there's, like, water up to their mouth, like, having the time of their life, quote unquote. Those people need to find a better hobby, honestly. It drives me nuts. I'm like, how are you doing that and think it's fun? I can't relate, but that's just me. So anyway, this lake, super deep, very interesting layout. Definitely a potential spot for an ancient lake monster to thrive in. Now, as we've talked about before, Ogopogo, strange name, kind of a cutesy name. Do you want to know the origins of that name?
I do.
The name actually goes back to a 1924 song written by Cumberland Clark and Mark Strong. This has nothing to do with the actual sea serpent. It's just a song that was written. Would you like to hear the song?
Yes, please.
It's a banger.
I barely know her.
One fine day in Hindustan, I met a funny little man with googly eyes and lantern jaws, a new silk hat and some old plush paws. When I said to that quaint old chap, why do you carry that big steel strap, that butterfly net and that rusty gun? He replied, listen here, my son, I'm looking for the Ogopogo, the funny little Ogopogo. His mother was a earwig, his father was a whale. I'm going to put a little bit of salt on his tail. I want to find the Ogopogo while he's playing on his old banjo. The Lord Mayor of London, the Lord Mayor of London, the Lord Lord Mayor of London wants to put him in the Lord Mayor's job.
I love that song.
It's actually not bad. I actually don't mind it at all.
His mother was an earwig and his father was a whale, or was it the other way around?
His mother was an earwig. His father was a whale. I'm going to put a little bit of salt on his tail.
Instant classic.
So the thing is that that song was actually performed at some of the music halls around Okanagan back in the 20s. And some of the people heard Ogopogo and thought that fit the lake creature that's in the lake. So everyone just started calling it the Ogopogo.
That was way before that bridge story started with.
Oh, yeah.
That was, like you say, 1924.
Oh, yeah. And that's not even the beginning of the Ogopogo. The Ogopogo goes back thousands of years in the native culture. In the native culture, they did not call it Ogopogo, obviously. Before the settlers moved into the Okanagan area, Okanagan was home to the Silks Okanagan Nation, and they called it the Naha'ik, which is, in their language, means sacred spirit of the lake. They actually took this extremely seriously, that there was a creature in this lake, and they saw it as almost like a deity. For centuries, they would offer food and tobacco by throwing them into the lake off of a little island called Rattlesnake Island. Here is a picture of Rattlesnake Island.
It's a rock with maybe 4 trees on it.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's a sizable rock. Like, the 4 trees look very small on it from a distance.
Yeah.
The boats around it are very small, and not a lot else.
Yeah. They would stand on that rock and throw food and tobacco in the water while the shamans would say prayers to ensure safe passage across the lake. And what's kind of funny is actually Rattlesnake Island is a hotspot for Ogopogo sightings to this day. And we'll actually get into more weird things about Rattlesnake Island. And we also know that Ogopogo goes back way far in the past because there's actually pictographs around the Okanagan of the serpent in the lake.
Really?
Yeah, this is one of the pictographs here. It's just of one of the humps coming out of the water.
Yeah, okay.
But that, with oral history, has been passed down through the Okanagan tribe for God knows how long. The lake formed, they believe, around 10,000 years ago, maybe a little more. So it could be that long that they've been talking about this thing. Now, there is actually a story of a native chief who actually is named. This is not like a legend. There is a named chief who refused the sacrifice or the offering to the spirit of the lake. He said, we're just going to go across it anyway. So they decided to go across it with their horses. Horses would swim across and they would take their canoes and go across the lake. And almost like a storm on the ocean, the lake began to conjure up massive waves that began to stir around the group. And storms began to come in. They figured it was not safe. Then they soon realized that the waves were not a natural current or a storm. It was from a massive beast below them. The horses began getting attacked. They began getting pulled under. The horses neighing and weeing, just screaming for any sort of desperation to get out of there. They cut the ropes of a few of them, but managed to save a few of them. And when they got to the other side of the lake, they pulled the horses out, and they were covered in bites and scratches, and they were bleeding all over. And since then, no one else in the tribes of that area didn't offer any sort of offering to go across the lake because that guy learned. And this is an actual story passed down that there was actual bite marks, and it wasn't talked like as a legend. It was talked like something happened.
Yeah.
The Europeans began to settle around Lake Okanagan in the early mid 1800s, and the Okanagan tribe told them there's a spirit of the lake and you have to respect it. And they took it seriously. But the thing is that they took it seriously in a different way. They began manning people with muskets around the lake, trying to shoot whatever creature was going to come and attack them. And they began throwing out long lines and nets trying to catch the creature. But the Okanagan tribe was trying to tell them, no, this isn't like something you can catch. This is like a deity of the lake. You can't just simply try to catch it. But they didn't listen. And this actually, for a while, they would take turns on watches to make sure everyone was safe around the Okanagan Lake. The first official sightings, however, go back to 1873. By the way, I am getting lots of this information from ogopogoquest.com. They're actually really good. They're like, it's like, you know, how Loch Ness has the database.
Yeah.
This is like their version of the database. In 1873, the first recorded sighting by a European was Mrs. Susan Allison. She was a pioneer and author, and she was on Sunnyside Ranch, which is in today Quails Gate Winery around Kelowna. She said that she saw a snake-like creature that looked a lot like how the natives would describe swimming along the surface of the lake with the several humps. And many other people saw this same creature describing the serpent in the lake. In 1926, when people started driving around the lake, a group of 30 cars along Okanagan Mission Beach reported seeing this Ogopogo creature. All stopped and looked at it. This is another group sighting of people seeing this weird snake-like creature in the lake. In 1947, a number of boaters all saw the creature at the same time. There was a witness in the area, known as Mr. Cray, who gave a detailed description. It had a long, sinuous body, about 30 feet in length, consisting of about 5 undulations, separated from each other by about 2-foot space, in which that part of the undulations would have been underwater. There appeared to be a forked tail, of which only one half came above the water. From time to time, the whole thing submerged and came up again. So there's been that, and there's been several other sightings before that. These are just the more famous ones. Sightings like this of a snake-like creature continued, but in 1964, we got our first photo of the creature.
Did we really?
Yep. That convince you yet? The Parmenter family was around the side of the lake when they saw a disturbance in the water. They had a camera on them, though. So they pull the camera out, and they take a photo of whatever they can. This is the first official picture of the Ogopogo. Now, for size, this is up on a ridge above the lake. Feast your eyes, buddy.
It's not a great photo. When you say this, 60s?
1964.
1964. It's quite blurry, actually. There's a long, dark object in the water. I don't really see humps. It looks like it could be a log, but there are lots of ripples around it, like a log that was trapped underwater and floated to the surface.
That is a possibility. But that is our first official.
That is our first official photo. It's better than most of the Loch Ness Monster evidence so far.
It's better than all of the Loch Ness Monster evidence because you can look at that photo and tell that there's something actually swimming.
You can make out the water. You can make out the trees on the shore.
Doesn't look obviously like a dinosaur in the water, like a toy one.
Yeah.
So, I know. That picture, not much to look at.
I wouldn't call it damning evidence by any means.
However, only 4 years later, we got our first video.
1968?
Yes, sir. This is called the Folden film. This clip has been analyzed. It's not a great clip. It's 1968. However, after being analyzed, they say whatever's in the water is around 60 feet long. Feast your eyes.
So obviously it's a blurry, grainy video. Similar to the photo. It is in color. You see some little green trees at the bottom. You see the blueness of the lake. And then like the photo, you see a long, dark, flat object. Similar to, like I said, the photo. It could very well, again, be just a log floating. Maybe.
If you look really closely kind of in the center, you see more of a little bit of a mass, and that's more moving.
The only thing I see moving is the cameraman.
It is not the best video.
No, but it is still a video.
But here's the thing. Ogopogo is actually one of the most cited lake monsters in the world. There is a lot of video evidence. And this is only scratching the surface. And the cool thing about this, I don't know if you remember in the Loch Ness episode, but as phones and cameras became easier to get, pictures kind of died down or got less great.
It's the way it goes.
Well, videos and pictures of the Ogopogo increase as more cameras come into availability. And we have lots to go through. Don't roll your eyes.
No, that wasn't an eye roll. That was like, oh,
okay. I thought you were like, oh fuck, more pictures. It's
no,
like, what do you want? What do you want?
I'm sorry it came across like that. That was not my intention.
Trying to prove to you that there's a fucking serpent in this lake. I'm getting pictures.
I fucking.
This is when we start to get into more of the classic Ogopogo photos. This is the Ed Fletcher photo. This was taken in 1976, and it's actually a frame of a video. But I think the video has been lost to time. I could not find it. But everyone says it's a frame from the video from Ed Fletcher. Here is that frame.
It does kind of look like a bunch of dark humps in the water. I'm not fully convinced though. There are 2 humps like in the middle there that kind of overlap slightly. It doesn't look like a serpent going straight in the water.
No, but it's something. It's an interesting photo.
Yeah.
There is a theory about some of these photos. It's a theory that we had similar to Loch Ness.
Bunch of hay bales.
No. Remember how in Loch Ness, lots of it is actually most likely seals playing together. They kind of go in a line. They make it look like humps.
I've never seen seals go in a line, but yeah.
Actually, we saw one the other day.
We did see one. We didn't see a line.
No. When we were listening to one of the episodes,
Yeah.
I think you were closing your eyes, but I did see 3 seals together, and I was like, yeah, I could see why people would think that. Thing is that this is a lake in the interior of British Columbia. No seals, but we do have otters,
We do have otters. We have lots of sea critters.
and we also have a lot of beavers. So a lot of this is possibly blamed on otters playing, or maybe a beaver.
Yeah, well, like it's hard to, like I say, it's hard to see in that photo, but it looks like there are some overlaps with the humps, and they're not all perfectly in line, as if there was multiple somethings in the water.
It looks less like one thing and more like a pack of things.
Yeah.
So anyway, this was in the 70s when people started getting more cameras and people started to build more in the area and people started to see more. This is around the same time when Bill Stasiak saw his sighting of the Ogopogo, and more sightings began coming out. More pictures began coming out. They're more of the same. Do you want any more pictures? I can show you more pictures from this time.
I mean, if you have a couple of neat ones, then I'm sure I'll take a look at them.
All right. There's a photo taken in 1981 by a Wacklin family member. It was around regatta time, July 24th, 1981 at 1 in the afternoon. Apparently, this guy rented a ski boat, and he was running from the west side of the lake into the vicinity of Peachland. And just a bit northwest of the tip of Rattlesnake Island, he saw something disturbing the surface. And this is what he saw that day. The water is a lot more disturbed in that area than the rest of the lake.
It kind of just looks like a few random white caps in the middle of the lake.
It is odd, though. It doesn't
is.
match the rest of it.
Well, yeah, they have to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah. And they seem to start and end. It's not like a continuous wake.
No.
Normally you can tell wakes, like when people are like, oh, it's a wake instead of like a serpent.
Yeah.
They go forever. Like
Yeah.
that one's just one spot.
Yeah, it is one spot. They're not super big whitecaps. They're just a little bit of water that got up and disturbed. It's not that long. I'd guess maybe like 20 feet.
It might be longer. I don't know. This picture does look like it was taken from far away.
Yeah.
Also, the lenses weren't as great back then as they are now. It's hard to judge distance. Made things look a lot smaller. But the amount of sightings and the amount of photographs and videos that people were getting, and more legitimate photos, none of these have been hoaxed. This caused a lot of people to gain more interest in the Ogopogo. You know what happens when there's a group of sightings in a town?
Money,
Almost.
tourism, hoaxes, people with stupid names who are cryptozoologists part-time.
These are all a part of it. But there's one thing that we all do. In 1984, there was a reward put out for the Ogopogo. $1 million to who could bring it in. So what does that bring to a small town?
People with guns.
Damn fucking right, buddy. We're going for another monster hunt.
Hey, grab your geese, grab your flashlights.
1984, the Okanagan Similkameen Tourists Association had a reward for catching the Ogopogo. $1 million reward to catch the Ogopogo. So, you know what? People are going to get their guns, get their harpoons.
That's a lot of money back then.
It is.
Now it can't even buy you a house around here.
No.
But that was a lot of money back then.
1984. $1 million.
That could buy you a full city block and then some.
Oh, probably. Here's the thing. We've done a few monster hunts now.
Couple, yeah.
And here's the funny part. Over in Europe, monster hunt, everyone's hoaxing it to get the money. You go over to Scotland with the Loch Ness Monster, and it's just hoax after hoax after hoax as soon as there's a reward out.
Yeah.
In America, as soon as there's the hint of a monster, somebody drunk off their ass without their glasses on saw something blurry in the trees, and there are guns, and they are gung-hoing it for weeks.
No one's even talking about a reward. They're just happy to be there.
They're more happy just to shoot something. Now, how do you think Canada's going to hunt this monster?
Beep. That was the sound of me censoring everything I wanted to say. Club it?
No, not club it. No, they're not going to club it, James. $1 million to whoever could catch the Ogopogo. The stipulation: it had to be caught with a fishing rod, it had to be turned in alive, it had to be unharmed, and it had to be released back into the lake.
That's a lot of stipulations for a 60-foot long serpent.
and more rewards would come forth as long as you could provide indisputable proof that the Ogopogo existed. No one caught anything. I don't think anyone even tried, because you're not going to catch a 60-foot water beast with a fishing rod.
No, not unless you're that guy from that River Monster show.
Yeah, that dude catches everything. So people were like asking around, like, "Hey, no one's really gunning for this because you're asking us to catch a 60-foot water beast with a fishing rod and not hurt it. So can we change anything about this?" And the Okanagan Tourist Association was like, "Yeah, you know what? We can definitely do this. 2 million to whoever can catch it with a fishing rod unharmed and release it back into the lake."
I don't think they even had $2 million to give away.
I think they're just trying to fuck with people at this point.
Yeah, they're just trying to, drum up tourism for what is almost the desert.
Yeah.
In Canada.
Yeah, throughout the 80s, several sightings. There was one video that got on Unsolved Mysteries that was of a beaver. It was a beaver. It was no doubt a beaver. The guy was like, no doubt, this is the creature. I caught it on video. He's like, no, I was so scared when I watched it, and it's a fucking beaver. And Unsolved Mysteries was very kind on the episode and was like, experts say it is most likely a beaver. They didn't want to say, "You fucking idiot, that is a fucking sea rodent."
Was it a 60-foot long beaver by chance?
No, I think more like 3 foot.
Oh, just like a beaver.
No, you could literally, it wasn't even like far away. It was literally like up close to him, and you could see it go like its tail flapping. It was a beaver. I don't know how this guy didn't think it was.
I don't know how the Hudson Bay didn't get that one.
I don't know how they didn't get the Ogopogo. We could have snakeskin boots nowadays made from Ogopogo, and they could not get on that.
I'd go for a pair of those.
Yeah, Ogopogo boots?
Yeah.
Are we bad people?
Depends who you ask.
Don't answer it honestly. There was at least 1 to 2 sightings every year of the Ogopogo on average, and that stayed consistent since people have seen things in this lake. However, in the late 90s, they were wanting to do a documentary on the Ogopogo. So they contacted Bill Stasiak. He's the man who saw it on the bridge, and he's also the local Ogopogo researcher. But he is a skeptic. He looks at everything skeptical. He seems pretty level-headed, which I appreciate. He does look at other options before he says sea monster. He just thinks there is something there. So they were doing a reenactment of what happened the day Bill Stasiak saw the creature. So they had his son play Bill, and they had a group of actors, and they were setting up the camera to film the people when they saw something splashing in the water. And lucky for us, they had TV cameras on the scene, buddy.
How convenient.
We got video of the creature. I'm serious. This is actually good video.
Good video of the creature?
Yeah.
Well, let's see it. What's the holdup?
This is late 90s. This is the Bill Stasiak dramatization accidental footage of the Ogopogo.
What we were doing is we were reenacting my first sighting in 1978. And of course, I was a little younger then, so my son played me.
Incredibly, Stachak doesn't have to restage the main event.
And out of the blue, something appears in the lake.
Look, the 3 humps. 1, 2, 3.
You mean those glistening white?
That is not a wave.
You think, what are the chances? It's like, it's so rare to see Ogopogo, and he shows up for a film crew.
And we had all the extras there, the film crew. We had 14 people there. It wasn't one person that saw this. 14 people.
Look at it move.
And everybody starts screaming, and they're turning the television cameras towards it.
Look, it's rotating in the water. It's moving. I see 3 humps.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Are you filming this?
And the most incredible part of it is nobody is acting in this. They're looking at this, and we've got the audio. And it's the most incredible audio you've ever heard. Really, really good stuff.
I don't know what to say other than...
So what do you think of that footage?
I'm thinking a couple things. First amongst them being, damn, what a coincidence. Like usual, it's hard to kind of make out exactly what it is. It did look kind of like, they said 3 humps.
Mm.
There were 3 sections of something in the water there, and they were bobbing one at a time in sequence. But they didn't really look like curvy sea serpent humps. They look like 3 straight sections popping out of the water, one at a time. So
the stereotypical Ogopogo big humps.
Yeah. And I know that may be a ridiculous thing. Not that...
It's more of an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of statues in Kelowna, Penticton area of the Ogopogo and with the big humps. But the humps are more like that. It's more like a snake moving through the water where it just kind of bobs a bit.
Well, the thing about snakes moving through the water is they kind of move on like a horizontal plane, not a vertical plane too, when they're swimming through the water, whether it's on the surface or underwater.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's almost like it's not a reptile. We got theories, buddy. Don't you worry.
Yeah, but like I do say though, the 3 sections that were just like straight and coming up in the whole section at once, not like a...
There was this part at the end there where you saw 3 distinct humps. There was one more near the front, and one more near the middle, and there's one tiny one.
Well, yeah, no, there were 3 distinct spots where it was, but there were straight sections in those spots. It looked like to me.
Yeah, so it was like 3 different straight sections.
Yeah,
but that's
yeah,
kind of
sure.
That's kind of what the humps look like. Is the humps kind of come up, and they're not like big, massive things. They're more like they just.
Yeah, no, they weren't really breaching. They were just barely poking through the surface.
Yeah,
to break the water and get some glare off of it, which is the only way you would have seen it. In my opinion, it was just kind of weird how the surfacing and submerging of the sections looked to me, but something, I don't know how or what it could have been.
Yeah, and the thing is with Stasiak, he's actually like a legitimate researcher. He hasn't hoaxed anything, hasn't been caught with anything like that. And he's actually, when people bring evidence, like, and he actually does review it, and it's like what he thinks. He'll tell you what he thinks about it. And he does sometimes be like either debunk or be like, I'm skeptical on this. He's not like everything's a monster. There's another guy in that documentary. I had to skip 10 minutes of it because he was such an idiot. He saw a log and he was convinced that the Ogopogo could transform into logs. He was convinced that the Ogopogo could fly. He was convinced that salamanders on the beach are actually baby Ogopogo. He went into caves and took pictures of where he thought it was breeding. And it was the worst case of pareidolia I've ever seen in my life, where you see faces and things. He like framed them all out with like little marker. I'm like, there's not a thing there. And I was like, this is just a waste of my time. And I don't know why the guys in the documentary left it in. Maybe for entertainment purposes. It drove me nuts. I was like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Just goes to show you, really, anybody can get in front of a microphone or a camera and spew nonsense.
Yeah, the difference is, James, that we're professionals. I assume that you're smiling and giggling out of affirmation.
Yes.
Okay.
Professional something.
This interested Bill Stasiak further. He decided, let's put together an expedition. There hasn't been one on the Okanagan yet. So Bill Stasiak got an expedition team of divers, the state-of-the-art sonar equipment, underwater submersibles, and he set it up all on a houseboat.
Who's funding all this?
I think him. Spends a lot of time doing this. He doesn't seem like a guy who's low on money.
Not if he's sponsoring expeditions.
Yeah, but I don't know much about him outside other than he's the Ogopogo guy.
The TV show must have paid well.
So anyway, they decided to take their expedition to the hotspot, Rattlesnake Island. And they first had divers go in to see what was under Rattlesnake Island. And they found something extremely peculiar about it. The whole island is just a sheer 300-foot drop-off. It just goes right down. Which was like, they didn't expect it to go that deep. So they dove down, and as they were diving, they found a cave 14 feet wide. And as they tried to approach this massive cave underwater, they felt cold current rushing out of it. There's either a spring or another source of water pushing water out of this cavern. Admittedly, the divers were too scared to go further. They did not want to mess with whatever's in the cave, if there is anything, or also, it's a cave underwater, you're down this cave was found 100 feet below the surface. They didn't want to drown.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, you can only carry so much oxygen with you. They're not near the surface at that point.
Exactly. So they came back up and hopped back on the boat, and they went to go search in other areas. And they got our favorite, James, a sonar blip. They found a sonar blip that was at the bottom of the lake, and it was 17 meters or 55 feet long. Here is a picture of that blip. Looks like your typical sonar blip. Not much to say?
I mean, if given the length you said, it is very thick.
It is quite thick.
I don't think that is a serpent of any sort, considering how thick it is. If that is 55 feet long, then that's got to be at least 15 feet thick.
10, 15 feet wide. The thing with sonar is it bounces off whatever's at the bottom and comes back up, and that's how you get the reading of what's down there. So if this thing was maybe snaking around, it could have possibly bounced in several directions, made it look wider than it was, but we don't know. All we know is that this thing was at the bottom of the lake, and it was moving. And by the time they put a submersible down to go see what was there, it was gone. So something was there, it was moving, it was big. We just don't know what it was. That's all they found on that expedition. Stasiak did go on several other expeditions, and we'll go over other findings he may or may not have found. But we got another strange picture in 2008 by a man named Sean Valoria. He saw something splashing about in Lake Okanagan. He tried to take a picture, but his camera died. He was on vacation, and he was distraught that whatever he saw, he couldn't get a picture of. But as he was leaving up on a ridge around the lake, he saw something splashing again. So he took 11 photos of what was in the lake, 4 of which were released to the public, 1 of which I have for you today. This is called the fireball photo, or the fire stream photo, or the fluke photo. Lots of people believe it to be the tail of Ogopogo diving back down into the water. Feast your eyes.
Is that a boat in the foreground?
No, that's like a buoy.
I was going to say that.
What do you think about that?
There's something sticking out of the water there.
Yeah, apparently it was moving.
Red on the tip.
Mhm.
Goes to more of a classic fish color, I guess.
Yeah.
Away from the tip.
They have described Ogopogo as like having a...
Like a purpley red, burgundy, dark.
Yeah, people have claimed that the fluke is kind of that color, but the skin is more dark green, and I think it has the white underbelly, like a typical fish color, as you say.
Yeah, and you can kind of make it on the photo.
Yeah.
Like I say, there's nothing really around for scale other than one object, which it's hard to tell what the heck it even is. So you wouldn't know how big it was because you don't know what you're even looking at. Neat photo, though.
It is a neat photo, and so far it has not been explained.
Yeah, I don't even know how I would begin to describe it. It is very thin.
Yeah, and you saw the zoomed in blurry version in the corner?
Yeah, it's not much to see there.
No. But also that shows why lots of people say, oh, every photo is blurry. It's because lots of people panic and instantly zoom in and then take a picture while shaking. And that's usually why every photo of everything is blurry.
So he took 11 photos.
Apparently.
He released 4 of them.
Yes.
What are the other 3? Are those anything different?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's the one that's went out everywhere. That's one I could find. The thing is that with Ogopogo, you could go on YouTube and find sightings and pictures and videos for days. There's a lot. So I'm just trying my best to like keep the ones in that I think are the best to convince you.
For sure.
Just to show you.
Yeah, don't show me a lot of shit.
How many wakes can you see, right? That's not going to do anything for you.
Oh, wow. There was a splash in a massive lake.
Yeah, big splash in a lake. 2 years later, though, in 2010, we got another sonar hit. This one, in my opinion, is the best sonar hit of any lake monster ever.
Really?
Yes. I think it is fascinating. And also, again, if you want to find more cool photos and databases of everything, Bill Stasiak has a website, ogopogoquest.com, where you can find all of it. It's all organized. Bill Stasiak received a side scan photo taken of an object in October 2010. It was by Gene Ralston. Gene Ralston and his wife Sandy Ralston, they, since 1999, have been using sonar to find lost bodies. So they're relative experts in the sonar community. He was going over Okanagan, not expecting to find anything, but he found something odd. Now, Gene Ralston, skeptic, didn't want to say what it was, but he claimed maybe it was a rocky outcrop that just looked weird. However, this doesn't look like a rocky outcrop to me. This picture was about 38 meters down, so about 100 feet below the surface, and it was almost 35 to 40 feet long. It was serpentine, and it was taken off of Bertram Park in the South Mission area of Kelowna. Here's that picture. This is the Gene Ralston sonar hit.
Looks like a wiggly something. Going along the floor?
No, not really. It's 100 feet down. I don't think it was near the floor.
It's just a weird contrast with what's above it and what's below it. But there's a wiggly something. Looks serpentine shape, I guess.
It does look serpentine, and it's almost 40 feet long. That's something weird.
Something weird.
That's not a sonar hit that we normally see. That's pretty good shape right there. So I think that's something pretty cool. What are you thinking about all these pictures and stuff I'm showing you so far? I got a lot of photos, and this is just the ones that I picked from a Rolodex of photos.
Yeah. You know, for the most part, most of the photos or video clips, both have been iffy. The tail one was neat. I don't know what that could have been. I'm curious if like the other 3 photos would have showed it submerging back in the water, or just like, you know, you have one frame to go off of and you don't know if it's going up, if it's going down, if it's staying the exact same. So it's hard to get much off of it when you don't know what you're looking at. That sonar blip's pretty neat.
Fucking cool, right?
Yeah, I don't fully understand what I'm looking at with the sonar blip, because like I say, it's, let's say you're looking at your iPhone screen, straight down the middle, it goes black on top and yellow on the bottom, and right on top of that yellow with the black background is just a serpentine shape. It's neat, but I don't fully understand why it looks like that.
I don't know if it has something to do with depth or how it works, but the guy Gene Ralston claimed that he thought maybe it was a rocky outcrop, but I don't know.
Like if that yellow was the bottom of the lake, then that would make sense, more sense to what I was looking at, and look like it would either be something jagged at the bottom or something not slithering, but you know,
just looks really snake-like. Well,
Yeah.
most of the time, things are a lot more solid on sonar.
so that looks more like you would think with the classic humps and everything, like big exaggerated up downs with the body. I don't really know though. You know, not all of it's been like, oh, but also not all of it's been nothing.
The thing is that as you put it, things not always being is actually kind of interesting to me, because you know there isn't all these exaggerated stories of people getting attacked and like these amazing heroic things or whatever, but it's more like a creature that kind of comes up every once in a while.
Yeah, and it's not like anything has been overtly fake.
No,
just a lot of stuff that you just don't quite know what you're looking at. It's not a whale, it's not a shark, it's not jumping out of the water, it's not breaching, it's just maybe skimming the surface every now and again for some reason.
Yeah, we don't know. Now you say it's not a shark, it's not a whale, but there is basking sharks that come up close to the surface, and they just come up because they get like the plankton that goes towards the sun. You know, maybe it has something to do with the prey or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, the sun comes out, the plankton photosynthesize, the animals that eat them come up near the surface to eat them while they're there, and they go back in the depths in the dark.
Yeah, basking sharks stay pretty up though. Like they're the guys with the big mouths. So I don't know. Some creatures just do come up to the surface like that. But when we get to like the theories and stuff, I'll possibly give an explanation as to what that could be.
Sure.
This is something that people also see in Okanagan that's strange. They see these strange water spouts, as you saw in the video we saw earlier, that just kind of appear on top of the lake. And lots of people claim that that could be the Ogopogo maybe breathing.
Like it has a what's the blowhole called?
Blowhole.
Like it has a blowhole.
Yeah, like it has a blowhole. So some people claim to see that around the lake, which is a little strange, and they think maybe that ties to the Ogopogo being less of a serpentine creature and more of a mammalian creature. Now, remember I told you, as we got more phones, we got more videos and pictures of the Ogopogo.
Yes, I recall.
This is a video taken in July 10th of 2018, which was a hot year for Ogopogo sightings.
Oh, we're getting pretty recent already.
Oh, buddy, we got stuff real recent. Apparently, this is just off a dock in Kelowna, BC. I don't have a name of the person who took the video.
What the heck?
What is that?
I have no clue. What? No, what?
You see that?
Yes. What the heck? I'm filming that.
Me too. Are you zoomed in as far as you can?
Yeah.
Me too.
Dad, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
What the heck, Dad?
Dude, what is
What
that?
the heck? It looks like it has spikes.
Wow, that's messed up, man.
What? Dad, do you want to run over there?
Interesting video.
Interesting video. Did not have any spikes on it, despite what that kid said.
I'm curious if they could see more with the eye than you can see in the video. Maybe there's slight little tiny bumps on the back.
Maybe. It didn't look super big. It looked like it Could have been something kind of just swimming through the water, but there was no obvious head poking up.
No, the head poking up is kind of a rare thing with Ogopogo. Not many people report the head popping up. It's more just the humps. Sometimes they see a head popping up. According to the witnesses, they say that this thing was at least 60 feet long because it was out more in the middle of the lake compared to where they were. Not much to compare size to in the video.
Yeah. It's not like the entire, body was breaching by any means. It was moving, half decently. It's just, a dark something that you can hardly see.
There was something there.
There was something there, and it was moving across the water for sure.
Yeah. And the thing is that with water creatures, that's usually the best you get. Unfortunately.
A lot of these could be explained by someone dragging a log through the water.
Sometimes they can, and sometimes they can't. And we'll get into different theories at the end with logs. But we have more videos. September 7th, 2018, Dave and Keith Halbauer got a really good video of the Ogopogo. If they knew how to hold a camera. These guys drove me nuts because you ever see when older gentlemen try to film something and instead of looking at the camera, they look at the thing? So like if I was looking at you and I was filming, I'm looking at you and not the camera, so they don't look where the camera goes.
Yeah.
They seem to do that. However, they also say that the sun was in their eyes and stuff. But if they focused on the actual creature in this thing, it would be the best Ogopogo footage I've ever seen in my life. When I saw it back in 2018, I was floored. I thought it was awesome, but I had to slow it down and clip it. This is the raw footage. And if we need the slowed down clipped footage, I have the news report as well. This is the Halbauer video, September 7th, 2018.
You guys seeing that? Yeah. I can't tell what I'm seeing.
Fucking look at it just below.
We're
keep it
seeing
just
that.
below.
I don't know if I'm getting it though, because I can't see. The sun's too bright.
Fuck you. Fuck you, the sun's too bright. Go fuck yourself. Those men aggravate me.
That man refused to film. He filmed the whole lake except for whatever he was looking at.
Right? It is right on the edge of the frame.
There was a couple quick blips. He saw a couple dark dots in the water. It could have easily been the head of an animal or two.
When you slow it down on that part, you do see a hump, a significant hump. It wasn't like a beaver. It was like 40 feet long. It's big, whatever it is. But these guys didn't know how to operate a goddamn camera to save their life, and it drove me nuts. I have slowed down that footage so many times and tried to clip it. Would you like me to find the slowed down clipped footage for you?
If you can, that would be appreciated because you seem to really like this video.
This is Keith and Dave Halbauer. These are the guys who took that video that aggravates me to my core.
See it there again?
I can't tell what I'm seeing.
I was blinded by the reflection.
The video dips up and down because Halbauer says he wasn't sure what he was seeing, let alone filming on his cell phone.
So keep it on the goddamn monster.
As you put it, I don't think I could put my arms around it. Like a dinosaur, I guess. It was like a giant snake.
Keith believes he's now witness to the legendary and elusive Okanagan lake monster.
And we're both looking at it, and I said, I think I see Ogopogo or something.
His brother, still stunned.
I don't know what it was, but then I saw waves behind it, and the rest of the lake was calm, so it was
pretty. That's a darn shame.
I wasn't sure what I was looking at, so I didn't want to go fuck yourself, you idiot. I'm sorry. Well, actually, no, I'm not sorry. Okay, that's the Canadian in me coming out. No, fuck, you don't know what you're looking at. Fucking film it, moron. What the hell are you doing? What the fuck are you? That wasn't even shaky. It was not on the camera. That's the part that's stupid. It's like in the corners of the frame, but it's so good when you see it. Imagine what we'd see if it actually filmed the thing. I'm sorry, I'm going off, but I'm like, most of the time when it's shaky, I'm like, hey, you're scared. I get it. It's okay. It's weird to look at. You're zooming in. There's things like that. Those guys were standing still on the beach.
They were living in the moment.
Don't bring your phone out. You know what? You want to live in the moment? Don't bring your phone out. Don't fucking be like, I'm going to maybe film the Ogopogo. And then bring your phone out and then keep it in the corner of the frame for 2 seconds every 30-second video.
2 seconds is an extreme exaggeration. It was 2 frames.
Yeah, not even
2
it's-
moments, 2 milliseconds.
You know, I don't like to hate people, but man, well, I do like to hate people. I don't like to hate people in
You love to hate people. You hate people.
I do. I hate a lot of people. But these guys aggravated me with the way they filmed that, because that could have been really good footage. And first they say the sun's in their eyes, then they say that, you know, they weren't sure what they're looking at, so they didn't film it all the way. What the fucking stupid kind of excuse is that? God damn it. Anyway,
That's too damn bad.
luckily, somebody went back the next day and got a photo. And this is a really good photo.
Is there like a certain time of year where most of the sightings are?
Actually, yes. Most of the sightings seem to happen September, October, November. More October, September. And there's a few theories as to why that is. But another theory is that that's when the boating season closes. So as the season closes and people leave for the summertime, the people who stick around, that's when the sightings come back. Which would make sense. Less boats on the water, creature would want to come out.
Yeah.
We've already established that the lake is gigantic and it has cave systems. And maybe those cave systems have air pockets that it can thrive in. Who knows?
You think it'd run out after 100 years?
Well, who knows where these things go? There could be underground springs. It could connect to other lakes in the area.
Also, it might not be there.
Might not be there. These are all possibilities. Another thing, do you know how many lake monsters are in British Columbia?
4.
Close. 4D. There is over 40 lake monsters in British Columbia alone. And lots of these lakes connect to the Okanagan.
Via tunnels?
Possibly via tunnels. But the thing is that these lake monsters are similar in description. Serpentine with a horse-like head. So either they're a similar species, or they just travel through the tunnels, or maybe through different river systems to get to different lakes. We don't know. It's interesting. Anyway, here is the photo. This was taken September 9th by Andrew Stark, and it's a really good photo. I think it's like the fluke, possibly, of the creature. Whatever it is, it's something there. Feast your eyes. Good photo.
A photo.
That's a good photo. What are you talking about?
I don't really know what I'm looking at.
So see that like black?
Yep.
That's creature. That's not wave. That's something there that's solid.
Yeah. It looks like something solid. It's a weird shape.
It's either the top of a ridge of something, or possibly the fluke of a tail, maybe near the end. If you look down to the right part of it, it kind of looks like the ending of a tail to me. I think it's like the fluke.
It is not at all similar to that other photo of the alleged tail sticking out of the water.
It is not, but also this is partially underwater.
It is.
However, it is dark, and I thought it looked kind of like the fluke of a tail, but it also could be just like the ridge of like one of the humps.
There's a very thick something.
There's something there.
There's something in the water there.
It's an interesting photo, and something solid, something big. So that photo has been looked at, and all we know is that it's something solid, something big, something there, something probably alive. It's an interesting one. I really like it. Within that same span, summer 2018, summer 2019, we weren't done with our Ogopogo sightings. We had one more that made the news, and in my opinion, it is the best video footage of the Ogopogo ever. This was filmed by Jim LaRock, and the story behind this is that his son was paddleboarding out on the lake when he heard a splash, and when his son looked behind him, he saw a fin splash in the water. His son paddled away yelling like there's something in the water. The dad, being a great dad, not helping his son, took his phone out and filmed whatever was swimming beside his son. So not only do we have this weird thing in the water, but we have his kid on a paddleboard as a size reference.
And I just heard the swooshing sound of something, and I thought my son was just on his paddleboard, and something went right behind him.
A huge and menacing presence is in the water just feet away.
Eventually my son turns, and he actually sees a flipper come out of the water and smash down in the water. And of course he starts booking it back on his paddleboard. Yeah.
His son just manages to get away, but Jim will never forget the vision of the creature, estimated at 120 feet long.
The underside of it was like white, and then the outside was dark.
So what do you think of that footage?
That was pretty interesting.
Right? You saw the flippers coming out? If you look closely, you can see kind of the flippers splashing.
Small flippers.
Small flippers, but they were there. That's something alive there.
It would be pretty unlike any creature we have ever seen.
Yes.
Because it would have to be very long and have lots of small flippers along it. Almost if it was a serpentine version of a centipede.
The thing is about this footage is I don't know if it was 120 feet long. I think the guy exaggerated.
That is definitely an exaggeration.
I think maybe closer. Usually,
don't say 60 again.
Here's my theory. My father is an exaggerator of sorts. Not a liar, but an exaggerator, I'd say. And usually you got to do a little thing called Vic math. Whatever he exaggerates, you multiply or divide by 2 depending on what he emphasizes. And normally that actually comes up to the actual answer. And I've kind of used that on other people who tend to exaggerate things. And usually it's pretty close. So usually divide or multiply by 2. He's saying it's 120 feet divided by 2, 60. Makes more sense. However, I don't believe he saw several fins. I can only see maybe 1 or 2 fins when he's talking about that. I don't see him along the whole thing. I think maybe the creature moving up and down, making splashes, maybe looked like fins in some parts, but I definitely thought I saw fins near the front. So I don't know if I fully agree with the fins all over it. But I think that is the most compelling footage of the Ogopogo I've ever seen in my life. It has size comparison. His kid to this day has not stepped foot in water ever again.
Did his kid see it too?
His kid is the one who saw it first. So his kid was paddling out there.
Yeah.
And then heard the splash and saw the fin hit the water like feet from him. And he paddled back, like yelling something's in the water. And that's when the dad got the phone out. So his kid was right up close to it, like beside it. So something was there.
Yeah. I definitely recommend people look up that video. I don't know if we can post that one because there was that like copyright essentially warning on it.
It is
not for redistribution or reproduction without written consent.
Yeah. So it's on global news. It is the Jim LaRock footage. If you look up Ogopogo footage, it's like one of the first videos that comes up. And honestly, growing up, I always was curious about the Ogopogo. Believe it or not, I was more interested in Ogopogo than I was about Bigfoot growing up.
Really?
More about sea monsters, 100%. For some reason, that interested me way more. Ogopogo started to fade with me because I was like, every video is wakes.
I hadn't even thought about Ogopogo since I was, like a wee lad.
Not many people do, but when you start looking into it, there's a lot of footage and there's a lot of weird photos and strange things in the lake. And I think that is the best footage, hands down. The one guy in there was saying something about waves or overturn.
Yeah.
This was in July. So the overturn he's talking about is when the sun hits the water and the summer heat warms some of the water, causing it to rise. And then the colder water stays in the bottom, creating like an undercurrent.
Yep.
And it creates waves on top, kind of like that. But the thing is that usually happens when the seasons are changing. So it happens more spring to summer or summer to fall. So I don't think it was overturned, and it looked far too alive to be overturned.
I was kind of thinking something similar because like most of the time you look out in the water, mainly in the ocean, but you go lakes as well. You could see different. The water just like looks on full in different colors, moving in different directions, all on its own in different spots. Mm-hmm. So I was definitely thinking that somewhat too. Watching the video, it's like always hard to tell.
It always is. It wouldn't be a mystery if it wasn't. Also, I was just recently at Cowichan Lake, up Vancouver Island way a bit. I spent a lot of time looking on the water, and everyone else was relaxing, having fun, and everyone thought I was chilling. What I was actually doing was I was thinking about what we were doing today. I knew what we were doing. And I was just looking at the water, and all I could think of was, how the fuck does anyone think a wave is a sea monster? As I looked at everything, I took pictures of the waves, and I tried to look at it. Man, you can tell that that's more than a wave. That's just all I had to say. Because I looked around, I stayed out on the dock and looked at the water for 6 hours, and I saw nothing that looked like a sea monster in that lake. That looked like a sea monster. But we're not done, buddy.
Oh,
we got another close encounter.
Another one.
But this one is right close. This photo was taken in October of 2022. Dale Hanchar and his wife Colleen were going out on their boat. It was the last day of the season sort of thing. People were packing up, but they wanted to go out and relax. Colleen, actually, I believe one of her parents just passed away. I believe it was her mother. And she apparently prayed that day to whatever. She didn't know what. She said, give me something to take my mind off of this. So they went out on a boat with their friend Myrna Brown, enjoying a warm October day. I don't know if you remember October of 2022, but it was unseasonably warm that year. So they went out and they saw something floating. They couldn't tell what it was, but it seemed to be a large something. And it seemed to, where it was floating, the rest of whatever it was below it tended to go down. Colleen decided as they got closer to take a picture of whatever it was. They didn't know what it was. They didn't start piecing things together until they got back. But they got a picture that is now probably the most famous picture of the Ogopogo because it's so recent. This is the head photograph. Now, if you remember the description of the Ogopogo, it has 2 horns and a horse-like head. If you look below that head, there's what looks to be maybe a neck that goes down into the water. They claimed that this head was about 3 feet long, 2 feet wide, similar to the size of the giant snake that Remy Van Leeuwenhoek saw. Episode number 6, go check it out. So it's pretty big, whatever it is. James has been waiting to lambaste me all episode.
That doesn't look real, man. Like
that's real.
It does, but it doesn't.
That's real. It's there.
I don't think it's a faked photo the way you can see the ripples around the what looks to be the horns there.
It has been confirmed that it is not Photoshop.
But that just doesn't look real.
What do you think it is?
I don't know what the hell it is. It looks like something someone made and stuck in the lake there.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look real.
It's strange.
Because it doesn't look like anything that I've ever seen in my life.
Do you see the eyes on it when you zoom in?
I do. I see the eyes. I see the little snout on it. I think.
Teeth?
Like this is the front of it, right? This is the front of it.
Yeah, so you see the 2 yellow eyes.
Yeah. It looks like something someone made and put in the water. Like the horns don't even look like real horns. They look almost like they're like mushroom type horns if mushrooms were pointier. I don't know, man. It's something definitely in the water there. It's something like that. Take a fucking video at that point. That is as clear and as close as you could ever get. Don't just take a still photo of that. Like, come on.
They did claim that they were frightened, and they did.
Yeah, if I saw that, I'd be frightened too. But you know what? If you have time to snap a photo, you have time to snap a 2-second video.
Yes. So I don't know if you saw how far, but the neck seems to go down to like here as the water gets murky.
I can't really see the neck.
Back here, it kind of goes down, and then it kind of tapers off around here.
Let me see it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It looks like a fake head someone threw in the water.
I don't know. It's a cool photo.
It is a cool photo. It is a cool photo. I don't doubt that it's a real photo. Like, I don't doubt that that's a photo that she took.
Yeah.
But, like, come on. You have the best chance in the world to ever capture a monster on camera. And it just looks like a fake-ass photo of a head.
They claim that they didn't know what it was to begin with. They didn't start piecing together the monster till they got back. That's what they say.
What do you think?
Well, we got some cool theories about it. So, instantly people said waterfowl. I disagree with waterfowl. They claim that the horns are like the tips of the wings. It doesn't look like wings to me. Also, if it was just kind of bobbing there, the waterfowl would make more movements.
I mean, if it was upside, I don't think it's the wings sticking out. Like maybe the feet flopped over.
They tried to shape with the feet, but it wouldn't make sense anatomically. However, there is another theory that I find interesting. A couple months before, they had the dragon boat races. And the heads of the dragon boats have those cool dragons on the head of them. And have you ever seen the head of a dragon boat?
I was going to say it looked very dragon-like.
Yes. Now, the head of a dragon boat has 2 horns on it with everything looks like a dragon, as you said.
Yeah.
They claim maybe a dragon boat got damaged and the head fell off. And it just floated there. Maybe it sunk, came back up with the oxygen, and this is at the time when the overturn would happen, and maybe it just came back up. Covered it with a little bit of algae, a little bit of sea, a little bit of weeds.
Could have been the entire boat just out at an angle, too.
I don't think it was the boat. I couldn't find any records of any dragon boat sinking.
Well, that isn't necessarily something that would need a record of. Like,
no.
You wouldn't call the news because your dragon boat sank.
No, but no one else has even come out and said that it is that, because people have looked for.
That is a great theory. Without thinking that's kind of what I was thinking, if that makes sense. Because it looks like a fake dragon head. I just did a poor job describing that.
No, you did an okay job at it. I heard you. But the things with dragon boats, if it was a full boat, the way dragon boats look is that the boat would be right behind this head. So they didn't see a boat. So if it was a piece of the dragon, it would be a piece. It wouldn't be the whole boat.
Kind of like that angle.
Even that, we would see the boat. Because of the angle of the head, the boat is usually level with the head. It's only a few feet under, so you would have seen the boat.
Right.
I'll show you a picture actually of a dragon boat on Okanagan, just so you have a better idea. Okay, I gotta be honest here. The dragon boat theory is lost on me. I initially thought that could be a thing. So it looks similar, but
You know, pulled it up here too. There's lots of different styles for them. I still think it very well could be.
It could be.
Again, as I'm poorly described it, it looked more like the dragons they parade around in like the Chinese festivals.
Yeah.
Where they have them on the sticks. It kind of looked like a head that could be off something like that. Fluffier almost, but it could have also, like you say, been algae on it.
Yep.
Whatever it was, I don't think it was Ogopogo.
I am divided on it. It doesn't quite look like a dragon boat head. It looks a little bit like one. But the weird part is that it also fits the description of what the head of Ogopogo looks like with the horns. And,
Well, you also said it looked like a horse. That didn't look like a horse head.
well, the head was underwater. Just a bit of the horns were sticking out. So we don't know. We'll leave that one divided or unexplained.
A neat photo. I would have also been probably scared shitless if I looked over the edge of the boat and saw that looking back at me.
It's not the only piece of Ogopogo art in the lake. There actually is a sculpture at the bottom of the lake of Ogopogo. Did you know about that?
I did not.
This is a sculpture at the bottom of the lake. And what happens is pro divers go down.
Yep.
And they bring newbie divers and prank them.
That's hilarious.
That is hilarious. But that is an actual monument at the bottom of the lake. So anyway, I do have one last video for you. It's the most recent sighting of the Ogopogo. This is called the Mother's Day video. It was taken on Mother's Day, 2025.
It looks like a rippling Ogopogo.
It does too. It's definitely the wave.
But they're different. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Like, that's not just a boat wave.
No.
And they're all black.
Very weird.
Interesting and similar to the other videos.
Definitely similar.
That one I would say was 150 feet long at least.
Yeah, some of them go on for a while. Kind of
So-
similar to the 2019 one, though.
I'm wondering if there's just a neat wave phenomenon in the Okanagan that is just people see every now and again and looks neat.
I think maybe the Ogopogo creates a bigger wake behind it than people know. And I think if it has a fluke and it's going like this, maybe it makes more humps behind it that make it appear longer.
Right, but then the waves that it would make behind it look the same as the theoretical waves of it.
Just a possibility.
Which
And
would
also-
mean then the wave looks like it, which would mean that the wave doesn't necessarily have to be it.
True. But the other one looked pretty long too. The 2019 one, Jim LaRock. I don't know how long that one is. Again, no size reference in the video, really.
Yeah.
It could be smaller humps.
There were buoys in this latest one here. That one did look very long.
It did.
But yeah, I don't know.
Also, if the average length that people are talking about is 60 feet long, 50 to 60 feet long, there could be anomalies where some are 80 feet, a bit longer. Who knows? But with that, I've given you all I have on the Ogopogo. There is so much more on the Ogopogo. You can go on YouTube and dive down the rabbit hole. Would you like to go to our discussion?
Let's do it.
Alrighty, brother. Today, James, what are you thinking about the Ogopogo, what I've shown you so far?
It's definitely interesting. It's more than I ever knew about it, you know? Some of those videos were pretty neat. A couple of them sucked. Same with the photos. Some of them were pretty neat. Some of them sucked. You know, in classic sense, it wouldn't be a mystery if we just could see what it was through the evidence, which is unfortunate. Interesting nonetheless, though.
It is.
You know, I haven't thought about the Ogopogo in quite a long time.
That seems to
Other
be
than the Loch Ness Monster episode, of course. What you're about to say, or maybe what you're about to say, you know, a recurring theme with everything I've heard about so far.
Yeah, you said it a lot.
Oh, quicksand. Oh, crop circles. Oh, the Bermuda Triangle.
It's almost like all of you guys matured and I didn't.
Yeah. Something like that.
You know, I think the videos are very compelling. There's a lot more videos with the humps and stuff like that you can find. This thing is still cited 2 to 3 times a year. Lots of those have videos. And unlike other cryptids, more videos and pictures come up as the years have gone by, which I think is compelling because not many other cryptids, it's like, oh, one summer in the 80s, you know?
Yeah.
Something like that. This one, the Ogopogo, it's like word of mouth, then slowly a few stories, then 1 or 2 pictures, then more pictures, then more video, and it keeps accelerating. none of the cases are really outlandish. It's more like you just saw an animal. To me, that gives it a little more validity that it's just a creature in the lake.
You know, it would be awesome if somebody with a drone happened to be around there and, see those waves and then send that drone out there and get a good quick look at it.
Ideas.
Ideas, people.
Get thinking, guys.
iPhone, that's old technology. You're living in the 1950s. Get a drone, fly it out there, and actually just look at it.
Hey, you know what? Screw all that. Just fucking make an AI video of it. Done.
Look at it.
Look at it. Well, we've gone over a bunch of videos, a bunch of pictures, but I do have some theories and explanations for you. Those geysers that I showed you, the weird spouts that people see. In the Okanagan, there are pockets of methane gas in the sediment. And when those release, they do make spouts coming out of the water. They look like mini fountains almost.
That would make sense.
So I think when people are seeing the spouts, that's most likely methane pockets.
Yeah. I at no point thought that this was a mammal with a blowhole.
No. However, hold on to that mammal idea. Another theory, it's all waves. All of it is waves. It is waves with a combination of imagination.
I am, partially leaning towards that one.
I think that's a cynical explanation. There's too much cool shit. There's too much cool stuff here. I do not think it's just waves and imagination. I think there's a lot more to it. Saying it's just waves and imagination writes a lot of people off without proving anything. It's like your favorite explanation. I wasn't there. It's the same thing. It's an answer without any proof.
We could be there, though. We could be there in quite a few handful of hours, but we could be there in a handful of hours.
We could. We can go find Ogopogo.
Okay, how about this? You're getting married soon?
Yeah.
Instead of a honeymoon, we should go look for Ogopogo.
My wife is the best, and she already booked our first stop on our honeymoon in the hot spot for Bigfoot in BC. Harrison Hot Springs. Yeah.
Bring a camera.
Oh, I will, buddy. Apparently Harrison Lake also has a sea monster, so I'll keep an eye out for that too. So I think some can be waves, but saying all of them are the waves is the same as saying none of them are waves. I think some are waves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, disregarding them all as waves is the same as saying they're all sea monsters. Like, it's just disregards either side of the argument to me. However, a man that we have heard about before, Adrian Shine, who is a Loch Ness investigator, chimed in with his explanation, a thing called internal seishes. So internal seishes are caused by disturbances like wind or changes in atmospheric pressure. And that's what I told you about earlier with the displacement of warmer and colder water causing a wave underneath, but making something on top. This also helps with logs because it will make logs go against the wind. So sometimes people see like a dark line in the water with the waves hitting against it, and they say, oh, it's moving against the wind, so it can't be a log. If it's in a certain time of year, it could be because the underwater waves and the lighter surface water can create it going against the wind.
Yeah, and a lot of it did look like kind of that.
It could be.
Either with the log or just with the displaced water making waves in the first place.
Yep, it could be. I feel like that's better than saying it's waves and imagination. That actually gives some science to some of the explanations, which I like. Another explanation? Sturgeon. It is all sturgeon.
Hey, I brought that one up.
You did, and lots of people do whenever there's a lake monster. Sturgeon. That's the classic one. That's swamp gas level stuff.
They are very big, scary fish.
They are.
Are they in the Okanagan, though?
They are. They are dinosaurs, too. They're very old.
Yes. But that's the real or lake monster, freshwater monster.
They're harmless, but they're cool. Now, sturgeon are spiny fish. They're typically bottom feeders.
And they can grow very large.
They can. However, the largest sturgeon recorded is actually in the Fraser River. It only got to 11 foot 6 inches long. And though people say that it could be sturgeon in Lake Okanagan, there seems to be no documented evidence of sturgeon inhabiting the lake. It doesn't mean there isn't sturgeon in the lake. The lake is massive, and they typically stick to the bottom.
Yeah, 800 feet, did you say?
Similar to Loch Ness, 800 feet deep.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah. So sturgeon could be in the lake.
And I just looked it up here, too. White sturgeon can grow up to 6 meters in length and weigh 635 kilograms and live more than 100 years.
Yes, they can get up. I think the largest one recorded ever, like in history, was like almost 20 feet. It's ridiculous. But this is still dwarfed compared to the sightings of Ogopogo. The thing is with that is that the sightings of Ogopogo typically have it going up, down, up, down, up, down. However, sturgeon go back and forth like a fish.
Well, there were no super obvious actual humps coming out of the water.
The Jim LaRock video with the fin. That one was insane. Come on, you even look shocked by that video a bit.
That one did look kind of weird.
That one had a fin in it, and the sturgeon's fins are not big enough to splash. They're not going to splash on the water. They're not like that. They're not. They don't use them for paddling. They're not like oars, like how this guy just kind of described. He described it as like an upside down dragon boat.
I mean, I feel like a 60-foot serpent wouldn't need to do that either. Snakes can swim in the water. They don't have any flippers.
Yes, but here's the thing: is that this actually kind of attaches to another theory we got. We don't think it's serpentine. We don't think that it's...
I think it's serpentine. That one sonar photo was very serpentine.
It was. But we have another theory about this. So we'll hold on to the sturgeon theory. I think a sturgeon can explain to some of them. I think because, it looks like a dinosaur. If it's on the top of the water, it's got a spiny back, it's going to look like a dinosaur. However, a prehistoric creature. This is another theory. Few million years ago, there was a prehistoric whale called Basilosaurus. Basilosaurus is very strangely long for a whale. Almost looks a little serpent. I got pictures for you, don't worry. It can get up to 50 to 70 feet in length. It also had a similar description of it would be going up and down like this, but it's so long that it might make a few humps. So this is the skeleton of a Basilosaurus.
Spooky.
Very spooky. And the thing is that they try to build around it. Lots of the artist remakes of them make them a lot thicker.
Mm-hmm.
However, lots of scientists think maybe it was more slender.
A lot of these renditions of them look very long and slender. Very strange.
Very strange creature, but it was a real creature.
Like if you took a seal, you put an alligator mouth on it, and you just kind of really stretched it out.
It's weird. It's a weird creature. Based on its jaws, they believe this creature went after fish like salmon and stuff like that. The thing is that the Okanagan has a cool species in it nowhere else has. It's called the kokanee salmon. These are salmon that live in Okanagan Lake, and they spawn in the rivers, but they're entirely freshwater. And the reason that is because that area was once underwater entirely, and it was all ocean. So what they think is if these Basilosaurus, which most likely chased the fish and the pods and stuff, they probably went after the schools. And if the schools ended up in this area and ended up in this lake where they got landlocked, the Basilosaurus would get landlocked as well. Just like the kokanee salmon, they would climatize to the fresh water and stay there. This would also explain why everything in that area kind of matches that description of the flippers with the horse-like head. Lots of sea monsters in BC match that description, including our local sea monster, Cadborosaurus. They say it's serpentine with a horse-like head, and it goes like this. And they claim that that is more mammalian than serpentine, which would match more what these creatures would be. Another thing is they describe the horse-like head on a Basilosaurus. So here is a Basilosaurus skull. Here's a horse skull. If you were looking at it not right up close, and you saw an elongated thing like that that's dark in the water, as I've told you before, people wouldn't make up something out of their imagination. They would compare it to something they know. A lot of farms in the Okanagan, a lot of horses.
Yep.
They'd compare it to a horse. So, to me, the Basilosaurus matches the description. I think that is the best explanation for what these creatures are. And the fact that so many in BC match this description all over, and there's tunnels that go to different places. Perhaps they have different dens or springs underneath that they can live in, pockets of air. Who knows where they travel to? Maybe there's underwater lakes. We don't know. We haven't explored this area yet. I think that it's most likely a Basilosaurus or something similar to that. And it would explain why the species looks so similar. That's what I think. But what do you think?
I mean, it would be a very distant ancestor of that at this point.
It would.
It would probably have shrunken down a ton, obviously. Otherwise, you'd only fit 2 of them in the lake.
The lake is fucking 135 kilometers long.
It is a very big lake.
You can fit the entire population of Earth in it twice.
Yeah, it is pretty big, all right. Yeah.
Okay, you can fit a whale in there.
Fit a few of them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad theory.
It also explains why there's been no attacks on people if they are piscivores.
Have there ever been skeletons of that ancient dinosaur found in and around the area, did you say?
They have been found in North America, off the coast of South America, Africa, I think southern Europe.
Like where in North America?
Central, southeast, mostly.
When the whole continent was underwater?
when the whole continent was underwater. But, I mean, we find great white sharks Africa, Australia, and off our coast here. Water has no limitations, really, especially if it's in the
I think
center.
we found a whale in the jungle once. That was weird.
They did find a whale in the jungle once, which was strange in the Amazon forest, which is... We'll get to that. But I think just because we found this here doesn't mean that it isn't there.
Yeah.
And also, this is along what I told you about. Remember I told you that between the longitude, latitude, all the lake monsters are kind of found in the same longitude, latitude, like north and south?
Yep.
This is within that. So I just think that this all kind of fits into that. And this is a real creature that was here. And if it was more mammalian, more whale-like, but it was more slender, like a serpent, it would kind of match why the descriptions are so all over the place.
Yeah, true enough. That's an interesting one, that's for sure.
I think it's an interesting one. And it's not like we haven't found creatures older than that. We have sharks and alligators now that were older than the Basilosaurus. That's what I think is cool.
At least one ancient fish as well. What is it called?
A coelacanth.
Coelacanth.
But we're still finding more ancient species more and more every day.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So anyway, that's all I've got on the Ogopogo. Is there anything else you wish to say, or do you want to go right to conclusions?
I think I've asked everything I could think of at the moment, so let's go to conclusions.
So, James, in the case of the Ogopogo, we have legends going back thousands of years with the Okanagan tribe in the area. We have 2 to 3 sightings every single year, tons of video and photographic evidence. We have an extremely deep and large lake that you can fit the entire population of Earth in twice. Expansive cave systems that may reach other lakes in British Columbia, over 40, that have similar creatures and descriptions. We have several sonar hits. We have more videos as time goes on. We are getting more video and photographic evidence as we get more cameras and pictures on the lake. I think there's a tremendous amount of things here to at least not say definitively that there's something in the lake, but there's something strange going on in the lake. We also have the Basilosaurus that may have chased the salmon into the landlocked area it was once ocean. On our scale from 1 to 5, 1, I'm an idiot. 2, you're skeptical. 3, you're on the fence. 4, there's something strange, but you're not a full believer it's paranormal. 5, there's a monster in Okanagan Lake. Where do you come down to today?
I think today I come down to... I'm going to be pretty generous with this, I think. I'm going to be a 3.
Okay, I'll take a 3.
2.753. No. Hold on. No, like a 2.5, 2.75, I think.
For fuck's sake, come on.
I mean...
It's a huge fucking lake. You got more here than the Loch Ness Monster.
What was the rating I gave for the Loch Ness Monster?
2. A hard 2. If that.
If that, yeah. We'll say a 2.75 today.
Oh, come on. Be on the fence with the Ogopogo.
I was I was getting close to the fence several times, but then, the more I think about it, no.
That's your cynic brain talking. Listen to your friend Jake, who gave you a ton of photos and videos.
Yeah, and I didn't like a lot of them.
There was a few good ones.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were a couple of good ones.
Mm-hmm.
By no means definitive proof of anything.
Can't even get you down the fence on this one. There's something there. It's a massive lake. It's an ancient lake. There's tunnels.
We haven't gone in any of the tunnels.
We haven't, because they're so massive. We don't know where they go.
If they're massive, they'd be so easy to go in.
They are. The thing is, we don't know how deep they go, and we don't want to drown.
Bunch of cowards.
They're hundreds of feet below the surface.
We have drones and fiber optic cables. We could just send...
I know, we haven't done any real...
We have the technology if we really cared.
We haven't done enough big expeditions on the Ogopogo. That's a very Canadian thing. It's like, there's a monster, and they're like, just leave it out there. It's not hurting nobody. That's very us.
Everyone's too busy trying to survive out here at this point.
Yeah, no one has time for a serpent. You're stuck on the 2.75. Think about it. Think about unbiased.
I have been thinking about it. I think I'm at 2.75, yeah.
You're stuck on it?
I think so.
Alright.
There was lots of interesting stuff. Like I say, a lot of it, I don't think the most likely explanation by any means is, that's the Ogopogo. A lot of it could just be logs or waves, like, with or without your imagination, it's dark lengths in the water. It could be a few things.
Well, what do you think the Jim LaRock video was?
I think that dragon head was not real at all.
I didn't ask you about the dragon head. I asked you about the Jim LaRock video where you saw a fucking fin and I saw your eyes change.
We did see a fin in there, didn't we?
We saw a fin coming out of the water splashing. We had size comparison. There was something moving in the lake that was huge.
There was no size comparison in that one. That was pure water.
The kid on the paddleboard.
Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind. I was thinking of a different one.
No, you're not thinking about that. I'm telling you about this one. This is the most definitive video. We have a fin. We have a massive creature in the lake. The guy said 120 feet. Do the Vic math. 60 feet long. There was something there.
There was.
What could that have been if there isn't an Ogopogo in the lake?
Could have been a weird wavy section with a sturgeon saying hello.
No, because the fins don't come out on sturgeons. Also, sturgeons jump.
Okay.
Wouldn't be that big. Come on.
I jump.
Yo, the sturgeons jump out of the water is something huge. This thing was rolling. It was rolling through the water. You saw it. It was going fast. That was good footage.
It was going pretty quick.
The kid...
I have no idea what that was.
The kid has not gone back in the water in 6 years. He won't go back in the water. They caught up with Jim LaRock and he says, yeah, no, we don't go back in the water because of what we saw.
You know what? Fuck it. 3. I'll give you a 3 today.
Let's fucking go!
There's some weird stuff going on.
Damn right there is.
There's those videos, although they do look awful and like waves a lot of the time, there's people in person looking at them that can't tell what it is.
Exactly. There's scientists that can't explain it. They just say waves without any scientific explanation. That Jim LaRock video with the fin is one of the best lake monster videos I've ever seen in my life.
We need some people to put in some actual work here. Grab a pair of binoculars, people. Take a video of something you saw. Get a drone. I don't know. Do better.
We do need to do better.
We have the technology.
People in Canada are too kind to this lake monster. We want to figure out what it is.
Shoot it.
But would they get the $1 million reward? Because they have to catch it safely with a fishing rod. Unharmed.
You know what? I'm sure you get a lot more for it if you shoot it and sell it to someone.
I wonder what the Ogopogo goes for on the black market.
Whatever you want. It'd be the first one. You set the price.
Damn right.
If you shoot it with like a sedative, capture it, sell it to someone alive.
Why has nobody thought about tranquilizing?
Sell it to Sea World. We don't need orcas. We don't need belugas. We have Ogopogo.
Why has nobody thought about tranquilizing anything? It's always so
because there's nothing there to tranquilize.
No, they always think like fucking shoot first or, don't catch anything at all. Tranquilize it. See what happens. I don't know. You don't have to kill it. They tranquilize sharks, so they flip them over, and they tag them and stuff. I don't know. We can do something like that.
Yeah, bag them and tag them.
Exactly. Anyway, so that's our next goal. We're going to bag and tag the Ogopogo.
Yeah, we got a Mercy 3 today for me.
I think 3 was a fair one. I think there's enough there to be interested in. I think that's a fair ranking, 3. You said 3, and then your second guess was 2.75.
Yeah, because I thought about it again, and I was like,
the initial.
Do I really think those little silly wave videos? I don't know.
The Jim LaRock video. That's all I gotta say. It's one of the best videos out there. You gotta admit, that's a good fucking video of a monster.
Good video of something.
Something. Anyway, I got James right to the fence today. Mercifully, I'll be kind to you.
About to fall off the fence.
Thank you for listening, everybody. If you like what we're doing, follow us on all our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The link to all of these are in the description of every episode and in this episode, so go take a look. If you enjoy what we're doing, rate and follow on Spotify. It goes a long way. Also, share with your friends. Word of mouth is the best advertisement, and it's free. Our email is darkdosenpod@gmail.com. If you have any cases you'd like us to look at, or if I missed anything, and you can politely tell me that I missed something and send me more information, I'd love to hear it. And as always, James, any words to the wise?
If you're going to go monster hunting, be prepared. Bring some sunglasses. Bring a pair of binoculars. Do better.
Words to live by. Do better, monster hunters.
If you're going to the Okanagan, if you're going to the Okanagan, be prepared. Don't be a brothers on the beach filming nothing.
Please don't. Do as the song says. Bring a butterfly net. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.